Indigenous activists from around the world they've pretty well had enough of my cultural appropriation, and they're calling on the UN to ban it. As we know, the UN loves to boss us around. This time they want to tell you what to wear, what to say, what to ingest, all in the name of tolerance. The UN's been working on banning cultural appropriation since 2001, long before normal people ever heard the words. The UN wants to expand intellectual property regulations to protect things like Indigenous designs, dances, words, and traditional medicines. And it looks like it's working. Retail chain Urban Outfitters was recently sued by the Navajo Nation for describing a pattern I can only best describe as Navajo. The case ended up being settled out of court. And one Aboriginal activist a little while back was mad that dream catchers were for sale in Dollarama because he claimed it made a mockery of Indigenous spirituality. I'm not sure if the offending dream catchers were anywhere near the decorative yard crosses, the Virgin Mary candles, the glow-in-the-dark rosaries, or the little plaster angels that they sell at Dollarama. If you get what I'm getting at, I'll have to check next time I'm back there. Now, this cultural appropriation stuff, it isn't the same as the horrible looting of sacred cultural artifacts belonging to another culture. That did happen a lot during the early 19th and 20th centuries. This isn't at all like grave robbing of Mayan mummies. This is policing of fabric patterns and clothing designs and knickknacks and words and plants. This is way too far. It really burns my bannock. It's madness. The left wants us to experience everything in a book now, not through real life and tactile contact. I just can't go into nature to experience it now because apparently I'm going to ruin it. I can only look at pictures, and now the only way I can enjoy another culture is, I guess, through the wonders of Wikipedia. This is weird self-segregation, and if any other culture insisted that no one else wear or sell things very loosely based on the designs they said were theirs, people would be rightly grossed out by the racism of it all. Imagine if some backwards country hick like me were to say that Aboriginal people shouldn't wear cowboy boots or cowboy hats because that's my culture. Or what if I told hipsters that they couldn't wear plaid anymore, like my gun tartan? Because that's basically what's happening with this Navajo pattern stuff. And you know what? Honestly, if you want to wear that gun tartan, knock yourself out. Frankly, I'd be happy to find out that you liked it as much as I do, even if you don't know that it's mine. And worse yet, there are some very real unintended consequences to this cultural appropriation policing. Many Aboriginal-owned businesses like Manitoba Mucklucks or Minnetonka Moccasins rely on people like me, you know, middle-class, basic white broads, to buy their stuff. I value the craftsmanship. It's not cultural appropriation, it's cultural appreciation. These Aboriginal-made goods are my favorite things. They're the go-to stuff in my closet. What happens to these companies without money from people like me if people like me aren't allowed to wear their stuff anymore? These companies would have to lay people off. And that certainly doesn't help Aboriginals. It hurts them. Now, I won't submit myself to this self-flagellation in the name of being politically correct the way that Katy Perry just did because she wore her hair in cornrows. She's turned herself from a pretty girl into an SJW, girl-interrupted, caftan-wearing weirdo in her attempt to make right what someone told her was appropriation. You can see it. She's clearly punishing herself for something there. Truth be told, I'm from northeastern Alberta, Kalina country, Canada's Ukraine. I culturally appropriate my dinner about one night a month through the affordable and tasty meal of pierogies and kubasa. And I won't apologize for it because my last name doesn't end in Chuck or ski. The left tells us that culture is a social construct and that we can identify as anything we want. We can be trans anything, trans black, trans species, whatever. And you can fluctuate from day to day and everything is on a spectrum. Well, if that's the case, then cultural appropriation can't even exist. It can't even be a thing. Those are their rules. The world is plagued with war, famine, and sex slavery. But the UN has time to worry about the dream catcher in my rearview mirror. I can't wait for the police to require a roadside blood test for that one. And I have a final message for these UN busybodies. They can pry my mucklucks from my cold dead feet. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunreid. To never miss a story, be sure to subscribe to our new Rebel Canada YouTube page.